Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Well, I'd like to begin this evening to welcoming you all to San Antonio. I believe we're going to have a great meeting this weekend. And I want to begin by thanking you because this week we hit 1.9 million members. So everyone has worked very hard to get us there, and so thank you very much for that. And today we start heading toward 2 million. 2 million. This evening, I'm going to not just deliver some informal remarks. I'm going to deliver what I consider to be one of my most important speeches since I have been Supreme Knight. And so I've taken the preparation of writing it out, and the speech will be basically in two parts. It will be a history of which some of you will be familiar, of where we've been, and then the second part of the speech will be to talk about the future, where we're going. And so with that, I would say to you, to begin with Pope Francis. In his apostolic exhortation, Evangelium Gaudium, Pope Francis called for a new missionary spirit among Catholics. This challenge, of course, has special resonance with the Knights of Columbus, especially throughout North America, where we have benefited in so many ways from the sacrifice of countless missionaries. The great Catholic institutions of our country were built by men and women filled with a great missionary spirit, although Father McGivney would probably not have described himself as a missionary. Throughout his lifetime, the United States remained mission territory in the eyes of the Vatican. And in this regard, we remember the words of Pope Benedict XVI during his visit to America when he named Father McGivney as an example of the missionary spirit that built the Catholic Church in our country. On that occasion, Pope Benedict urged Catholics to move forward together towards that true spiritual renewal desired by the Second Vatican Council, a renewal that can only strengthen the Church in that holiness and unity indispensable for the effective proclamation of the gospel in the world today. And the Pope continued by saying, "Was not this unity of vision and purpose, rooted in faith and a spirit of constant conversion and self-sacrifice, the secret of the impressive growth of the Church in this country?" We need but think of the remarkable accomplishment of that exemplary American priest, the Venerable Father Michael McGivney, whose zeal and vision led to the establishment of the Knights of Columbus. So said Pope Benedict. This missionary spirit has been the lifeblood of the Knights of Columbus. How else account for the fact that within 4 decades of our founding, the order had spread across the United States and Canada and had begun activities in the Philippines, Mexico, and Cuba. That same missionary spirit led our order to establish a network of facilities throughout Europe during the First World War to serve countless members of the American and Canadian military. And then after the Great War, to open athletic facilities in Rome to serve and help evangelize the youth of that city, a work that continues to this day. We see that same missionary spirit today as the order begins activities in Poland, Ukraine, Lithuania, and Korea. And as our charitable programs change thousands of lives for the better in places like Haiti, Uganda, Vietnam, and Iraq. This missionary spirit has been a constant dynamic throughout our history. It has always encouraged us to seek new challenges and to adapt to new situations, and to do so always in faithful service to our communities and our church. Following the Second Vatican Council, it became clear that the vitality of our parishes and of our Catholic families was being tested as never before. We all remember what happened in the 1960s. Thousands of priests and religious left their ministries, and vocations to the priesthood plummeted. The widespread scourges of no-fault divorce, cohabitation outside of marriage, single-parent families, and abortions made Catholic family life at times appear as the new terra incognito. At the same time, the Second Vatican Council challenged us by calling upon the laity to assume a greater role in meeting these challenges. And the Knights of Columbus responded with dynamic new initiatives to better meet the needs of our families and our parishes. We initiated one of the largest vocation programs in history. Through our RSVP program and our scholarship programs, we have provided more than $68 million to more than 115,000 men and women. We began to shift away from establishing local councils dependent upon home association facilities. Instead, we promoted the establishment of parish-based councils aligned with Father McGivney's original vision for our order. And we began to encourage a greater focus on programs that would include our family members in our activities and would more directly support Catholic family life. And the result? The result has been a tremendous success. This shift has opened the door to thousands of new councils that could never have afforded to take on the financial burden of building or purchasing meeting halls. At the same time, this shift opened the door of membership to hundreds of thousands of new brother knights. And many of the thousands of priests that we have helped financially are now brother knights who proudly serve as our council chaplains. And it has done even more. It has led to the extraordinary growth of the Knights of Columbus in the charity we provide our neighbors in need. Literally hundreds of millions of dollars and hundreds of millions of volunteer service hours. Knights of Columbus councils, active councils, are bringing our principles of charity, unity, and fraternity, as well as our energy and our initiatives to enliven and strengthen thousands of parishes. And during this same time, the Knights of Columbus sharpened its mission to better support Catholic family life. This was always one of the core missions of the order envisioned by Father McGivney. It was the reason the order developed fraternal benefits to support widows and orphans. It led to the establishment of thousands of youth and family activities, to our support of parish-based Catholic schools, as well as our spiritual and catechetical programs directed to families, such as our Catholic Information Service, our Pilgrim Virgin Icon programs, and Fathers for Good. And more recently, the order has implemented a new program that brings together both our support of parishes and our support of families. You know, it is entitled Building the Domestic Church, the Family Fully Alive. Already, many thousands of our local Knights of Columbus councils and our families participate in this great program. In its 2012 document on the new evangelization, entitled Disciples Called to Witness, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops made clear the connection between the parish, and the family in the new evangelization. Regarding parish life, the document said this: "It is the responsibility of both pastors and laity to ensure that the doors of the parish are always open. Evangelization must remain rooted in the parish. It is in the parish that one becomes engaged with the church community, learns how to become a disciple of Christ, is nurtured by Scripture, and is nourished by the sacraments, and ultimately where one becomes an evangelizer. Successful evangelization and catechetical initiatives must be focused on the parish." The document then went on to say this about the family's role: "A culture of witness is sustained within the church through marriage and family. It is within the sacrament of matrimony that the husband and wife evangelize, become evangelized, and share their witness of the faith with their children and to society." It noted also, the family called the domestic church is often the first place where one experiences and is formed in the faith. And it concluded by quoting Pope Benedict XVI's address to the Pontifical Council for the Family, that the new evangelization largely depends upon the domestic church. Thus we see a providential conversion between three initiatives of the Knights of Columbus: the development of thousands of new parish-based councils, new programs to strengthen family life, all leading to a deeper understanding of the family as domestic church, and our increasing commitment to serve the church's mission of a new evangelization through the parish. Indeed, each of these three initiatives point to the Knights of Columbus as the organization best situated to enliven and to strengthen parish life. We are truly positioned today to move to a new level of service as the strong right arm of our parish priest. Now the time has come for us to accelerate these initiatives as they affect our work in parishes and our work to strengthen Christian family life. The family as domestic church is essential to both the work of the new evangelization and to the future sustainability of our parishes, and to the future sustainability of the Knights of Columbus. But the Catholic family cannot perform this important function, this important mission, on its own. The reason is simple. As Pope Paul VI said, the family can only truly be a domestic church when its daily life mirrors the various aspects of the entire church. And for this to become a reality, the family must be more fully integrated into the sacramental life of the parish. Knights of Columbus, parish-based councils today are not only places that provide invaluable support to parish life in terms of charitable and social activities. These councils are the primary place to support the evangelization of family life through the mission of the domestic church. Our councils can do this by more fully integrating families into the life of the parish through the many programs of our parish-based councils. If we do this, then we will continue the legacy of Father McGivney, a legacy which Pope Benedict observed was to promote spiritual renewal among Catholics by strengthening them in holiness and unity. And as a parish priest, Father McGivney saw that this renewal could be assisted in powerful ways within the parish by the new organization he had established. Today, we are determined to continue the work, Father McGivney's work of renewal and unity. In this way, we will also realize the mission that St. John Paul II identified in Ecclesia in America when he wrote, "The renewal of the church in America will not be possible without the active presence of the laity. Therefore, they are largely responsible for the future of the church." That they is you and me. The pastoral visit of Pope Francis in the United States and his attendance at the World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia presents an historic opportunity for Catholics throughout the world, and especially for Catholics in North America. During the World Meeting of Families, Pope Francis called for a new alliance between the church and the family, in order that Catholic families might receive greater encouragement and support. But for millions of Catholic families, this new alliance will only have reality if they can find this greater support within their local parish. And there is no Catholic organization better positioned today in thousands of parishes than the Knights of Columbus. Today, the Knights of Columbus is providentially positioned to play a key role in this new alliance between the church and the family. But for us to do this requires that we adopt new methods. We must devote even greater efforts to our fundamental mission of charity, unity, and fraternity. But we must do so with even greater attention to the needs and the future of our parishes and of our families. What is necessary now is our greater involvement in the renewal of parish and family life. To meet this need, we will have to do some things differently. Our councils will have to become even more active in our parish communities. We will have to stop duplicating activities that are more appropriately done by and through the parish. We will have to focus more on programs that support Catholic families in their mission as a domestic church. For many councils, doing these things will require making choices between what is good and what is better. Often they may have to choose between what our Catholic communities may have needed in the past and choose today what they need in the present and in the future. Therefore, tonight I am announcing a new order-wide initiative to strengthen both our parishes and our families. It is entitled, "Building the Domestic Church While Strengthening Our Parishes." This new initiative builds upon our past programs and accomplishments, and at the same time it requires that in the future we do some things differently. First, this initiative requires that we accelerate the process of moving away from the home association system and moving toward more parish-based councils. We should no longer expend valuable resources supporting home associations whose activities are outside the mission of the Knights of Columbus and our church. The deployment of our resources should be made on the basis of mission integrity and our core principles, charity, unity, and fraternity. Some home associations, for example, served important social purposes in the past, such as hosting receptions and parties, as well as degree ceremonies and business meetings. However, because of the need to generate a constant stream of revenue just to maintain their buildings, many home associations have been forced into the facilities rental business, in which they are now subject to market forces, government regulations, and liability risks. Needless to say, this situation has diluted the mission, integrity of the councils that use those buildings. These home associations may at times actually impede the work of those councils and the order at large. For this reason, I am asking every council using facilities owned by a home association to undertake a serious assessment of how that relationship supports the council in its fulfillment of the core mission of the Knights of Columbus. And every council using facilities owned by a home association should, as soon as practicable, enter into the contractual agreements required by the resolution adopted by the Supreme Council at its convention in 2014. Second, our Building the Domestic Church While Strengthening Our Parishes initiative requires that our parish-based councils move toward greater integration into the life of our parishes. Councils should begin to end the duplication of programs that may compete with parish activities. Instead, we will use our resources of time, talent, and energy to strengthen parish-based and parish-sponsored programs. One important area where this will occur is parish-based ministry. Perhaps more than at any other time in our history, our youth today are in need of greater evangelization, catechesis, and pastoral care. This pastoral care must take place within the parish and at the direction and under the supervision of its pastor. Today, our youth need greater, not lesser, involvement with their parish. But there is no better organization today in so many parishes than the Knights of Columbus to assist our pastors in this responsibility. Councils should seek ways to work closely with parish-based youth ministry programs, and councils should also seek new ways to support the activities of parish-based schools. Now, the Board of Directors has decided that as part of this new initiative, local units of the Knights of Columbus will no longer sponsor Boy Scout troops. Councils should move to end sponsorship as soon as practically possible, in many cases by the end of 2015, and in no case later than the end of 2016. Instead, local units should encourage troops that they presently sponsor to become parish-sponsored troops. Such new parish-sponsored Boy Scout troops can and should receive the volunteer and financial support of local councils. But the important change is that the mission and activity of scouting will be more properly integrated into a comprehensive strategy of the parish's youth ministry under the direction of the pastor. After considerable deliberation, we believe that this is the best way to provide for the future sustainability of an authentic Catholic scouting program and of the Catholic identity of the young men who participate in it. Additionally, councils should seek to more closely integrate the activities of squires, circles, and their other youth activities within the youth ministry goals of the parish. Councils and assemblies in the United States and Canada that do not presently sponsor squire circles are encouraged not to institute new circles. Instead, these local units are encouraged to support existing parish-based youth ministry programs. And in parishes where youth ministry programs can be improved, councils should work with their chaplain and pastor to find ways to begin new or more effective parish-based youth ministries. In the future, youth activities of the order should be measured by how they assist the overall goals of parish youth ministry. and how well they are incorporated with our very successful program of building the domestic church. As we move forward, we will incorporate many existing programs into our Building the Domestic Church program. During this fraternal year, councils that formulate their activities through the Surge with Service program should give priority within the family activity category to those activities related to our Building the Domestic Church program. They should give priority within the church activity category to those programs which more fully integrate their council's activities within the life of their parish. And they should give priority within their youth activity category programs to those programs which strengthen or support parish-based youth ministry. They should also consider how their activities in the categories of counsel, community, and pro-life may be enhanced through greater participation by the wider parish community. When St. John Paul II spoke of the new evangelization, he explained that the content of evangelization would not be new, but that this would be an evangelization new in its ardor, methods, and expression. This is the same dynamic that guides our mission today. The content of the Knights of Columbus has not changed. We are a Catholic brotherhood based upon the principles of charity, unity, fraternity, and patriotism. We are dedicated to faithful and unparalleled service to our church and our communities. But what will change is the expression of that service so that our work may become even more relevant and more effective. The changes outlined today may be difficult for some. Change is never easy, but the proven record of the past half-century is clear. The closer the Knights of Columbus becomes to parish life, the closer we work with our parish priests, and the more we support Catholic families, the more our order has grown in membership and charity. The challenge of effective leadership is to lead change, not be led by change. The leadership of the Knights of Columbus has always succeeded in leading change. And this is what I am confident that you and I will accomplish during the coming fraternal year. Vivat Jesus.